In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to put on your seat cover on your e-bike. I'm going to show you step by step and make it as easy as possible to understand. This goes for any bike. It could be an e-moto or a moped style e-bike, up to a Sur-Ron down to a Ridstar. I'm going to show you how you should start the installation and then finish it. I got the Enjoy MFG seat cover. I put it on one of my other bikes and I really liked it, so I'm gonna put it on my Anycom DB1. And yes, there is pink on the seat cover. I had no idea that there was pink on the seat cover. I don't know if they sent me the wrong one. I thought it was just gray and black. First, I gotta take off my seat. If you don't have an Anycom DB1 and you wanna skip ahead to just the seat cover putting on, I'll put the time on the screen, or you should skip to. The way you take off the seat is you just have to take off both these nuts off this bolt, and then the seat will come right off. Once you've done that, you can just pick the back end up and then it'll slide out from here. And then your seat is loose. I'm replacing my seat cover because if you see this, there's a big old hole. It was a little tiny hole, then it became a bigger rip, and then now it's this. At first, I really like this seat cover. It feels good, it has stitching, but I feel like that just shouldn't happen. A little tear then coming to this. Some people don't take off their old seat cover, but I do. I think it just feels better and it doesn't slip around as much, and this one is absolutely cooked. So I'm just gonna take off this one, and I'm gonna use a flathead screwdriver to just get under the staples, work my way under them, and then pull them out. And I'm gonna do it all the way around, take off this seat cover, and then I can put on my new one. Once you've taken out all the staples, then you can go ahead and take off your seat cover. And I'm gonna grab my new seat cover. Make sure you put the ribs, that's these little pink things on this seat cover, on the back end, and the brand name on the back end, because most seat covers have their brand name on the back. You want to make sure the front of the seat cover is facing towards your handlebars and the back is facing towards the fender. I've made that mistake before and I had to take all the staples off and redo my seat cover again. It sucks, so make sure you do that. This is a Sur-Ron type seat cover, and this seat is not a Sur-Ron type seat cover. This seat cover is the closest thing I could get to fitting this. I'm going to put my back end on first. You want to make sure that this is as even as possible. The staple gun I'm using is air powered to get those staples really in, and they're pretty short staples. They're about 1/8 of an inch staples, so that the staples don't poke out and start poking my leg when I'm riding. You want a short staple so they stay in the plastic part in here. So I'm gonna flip this around and put the back staple in first. When you're using a staple gun, you gotta be super safe and not staple your finger into the seat cover. That would not be a good day. You got that one in there. And for the first few ones in the back, I like to put two or three in. For this, I'm going to put in 3. Make sure you're keeping pressure to the back. Now that we have staples in the back, I'm going to go over to the front and pull the seat cover on super tight. We want to make sure we have no wrinkles so that we don't look like a Jerry e-bike rider. You can kind of use your thumbs to get all the wrinkles out and really pull it over your palms. Just kind of use all your strength to get that over. This will be hard, but what the seat is going to look like after will be worth it. So once you have that pretty tight, you're going to come over here with the staple gun. Make sure all your fingers are all the way in the leg. Staple that. I'm going to staple the front end twice. Now that we have the back and the front stapled, I'm going to go ahead and do the sides. So one in the middle on the sides, I'm going to again pull this as tight as I can around with my thumbs. Really try to work out all those wrinkles. And you just want to check on your seat cover, see if it's straight. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this pretty tight as I can. Come back over here, see if that looks straight. Then I'm going to grab my staple gun. Put one in right here. And just to make sure that doesn't slip, I'm going to put 2 more in. When you're putting on a seat cover, you want to make sure you have a lot of staples in, so the staples can keep the seat cover down when you're riding, doing jumps, wheelies, whatever you're doing. And then I'm going to look right here, come over to the other side, and pull that over and do the same thing. come right here, see if that's straight, and that's not very straight, so I'm gonna come back over here, pull this as tight as I can again. Alright, put one staple in, look at it, look straight, and I'm gonna put in a few more right here. Alright, put on 3 on this side, 3 on the other side. Now we just gotta keep on putting staples in all around while working your fingers around those to make sure you don't have any wrinkles in your seat and so it looks as good as possible. Don't rush it, just make sure it looks good, and it might be painful at the moment, but when you see the end product, it's gonna look good if you do it right. And right here, this side is pulled down a little bit more than this side, and I already put a staple in right here. So you don't have to get it right the first try. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my flathead screwdriver and pull that staple out and pull it over again. Now I like the way that looks. I'm gonna go ahead and staple that. So if you mess up, just go back, take out the staple, and staple it again. You do not have to do it right the first try. Now the corners are one of the hardest parts when you're putting on a seat cover. You really have to get your fingers in there, your palms, whatever you want to use. Lots of people use their thumbs to really get those wrinkles out. The corners is where a lot of the seat cover kind of gets bunched up and you have to try to work that out of there. So I'm just going to work my thumbs on here. Just want to make sure, get every wrinkle out possible. You do have to get in some pretty awkward positions with your hands and everything to make sure you get all the wrinkles out. But I got all those in. Get right in there. Alright, so then I'm going to do that on the other side. If I don't like how this side turned out, then I'm just going to take out the staple, do it again, and I'm going to make sure it's how I like it and all nice and not wrinkly. I'm going to do this side now and the backs. Alright, the front now looks pretty good, and I got all the staples in that were holding the wrinkles. Now I'm just going to put some more staples in at the front just to make sure that the staples that were holding all the wrinkles back have support from other staples. When you have a staple gun, if you have a staple gun like this, make sure your leg isn't right under where you're working. You never know what could happen. Maybe the staple, if your seat isn't very thick plastic, the staple could shoot through it and shoot into your leg. You just want to be as safe as you can. So when I'm doing a staple, I either like to still have my leg for support, but have the seat cover over here, just not straight under. Now that the front end looks pretty good, I'm going to move to the back and do the same thing, work my fingers, get all the wrinkles out of the back. And the back isn't quite as bad as the front, there's not too many wrinkles. So now I'm just going to get my fingers again, really try to work out all those wrinkles the best I can. Once I feel like I have that, hold that with my finger, get the staple gun, staple that. So that looks pretty good. Now I gotta work out all the rest of the wrinkles. And if my fingers slip off and all the wrinkles go back, I just gotta go back, work all the wrinkles back into the inside of the seat, and do all that again, and then I can staple. Now that I got all the wrinkles out, now I'm just going to go around and make sure there's no big gaps or there's no staples. I want to get all those staples pretty close to each other. So I'm just going to go around, staple it, make sure there's lots of support so the staples don't pop out and then the seat cover comes off and you have to do it all again. Now I'm going to check back at my seat cover, make sure everything's still straight because you don't want to mess that up. That would suck. Once you got all those staples in around the sides, make sure there's not any big gaps and it looks like there's lots of support so that the seat cover will stay on good. Then you have yourself a good looking seat cover with no wrinkles. So the really big things is you want to start on the ends. Staple one end in first and the other, make sure that's super tight. I like to start on the back end and then pull the front end over. You want to get your fingers in there, your thumbs, whatever you can to get all the wrinkles out so it looks as good as possible. There's no wrinkles. You see right here on the back, I put in a lot of staples. You may not need to put in as many as I did, but I would recommend you do so your seat cover doesn't come off and you have to do it again. And the back end doesn't look too pretty, but it's not supposed to because you're never going to see it. So then when you have the seat cover fully put on and you like how it looks, then you can put it back on your bike and go ride. Now I'm going to put my seat cover back onto the bike. So I'm just going to slide this little mount into there. Line up those two bolts with the holes. Then I'm going to go get the nuts, screw that back on. Got the seat cover on the bike. It looks amazing. I don't mind the pink, but I definitely would have rather black, but it is what it is. See, if you work out all those wrinkles, it's going to look a lot better on your bike. No wrinkles at the front. You kind of see that there's a few in the back, but from a distance, you can't really see that. Super happy with how that turned out. Just got a shock cover, so I'm going to put that on right now. Just got the shock cover on. I didn't know that would make that big of a difference, but the bike looks way different now. Now I'm going to go test out the seat cover and go ride, go hit jumps, and ride dirt. So let's go do that. All right, we're on the bike now. The seat cover, oh my gosh, it's feeling so good. I gotta be careful on this gravel because I could easily slip. Hey, let's try some foot drag wheelies. Or 1 foot drag wheelies. That's pretty easy, but as soon as I put both feet up, this is downhill, so it's gonna be a little harder, but. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Since it's such a heavy bike, it's really easy to do with no hands, but with any kind of e-bike that has big wheels or tires, it's pretty easy. I have a pretty big tip. To put my first seat cover on, I had to get an air staple gun. So it's powered by air and it makes it a lot more powerful to get the staples through the kind of like thick plastic that most e-bikes have. So I will say I do recommend that. I just went on Facebook Marketplace and found an air compressor for 75 bucks. I went to Home Depot and got the gun, and that was about 40 bucks. So it's definitely a lot of money, but it's well worth it for air compressor. And with the way Facebook Marketplace is, you'll probably be able to find an air compressor even cheaper. W clip spot right here. If you want to get this bike to any DB1 or you just want to check it out, click the link in the description. That'll send you to their website. If you want to get this bike and you want a little bit of money off, use code LittleBronkBuster200. I'll throw that up on the screen right here for $200 off. This thing does only go 33, but it feels pretty fast when you're on the bike. Let's go hit some jumps. There's a few jumps right here. Oh. I am running a blown shock right now. That's why there's a bunch of oil down there. I don't know if I got a default shock or what happened. One day I look back down at my shock. I was gonna mess with the dampening a little bit. I look down and it's dripping oil. I blew my shock and I'm gonna try to fill it up with oil again and try to fix the seal. But if that doesn't work, then yeah, my shock blown. So I don't know if I got a default or I was just going a little too hard on it. I was hitting some pretty decent sized jumps for this bike, but blowing shock sucks. Oh, what just happened? Yo, what? What just happened? Oh my gosh. What? Nah, that's crazy. R.I.P. my bolt. Yo, look at my pig. Right when I was talking about how I broke my shock, I just broke my new bolt. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for the video. It's gone to a bit of a sad ending with breaking this. I didn't really want to cut the riding part that short, but it is what it is. The rest of that bolt in there is broke, so might have to use an easy out. I hope the seat cover installation helped you guys get a grasp of how you do it. That's how I do it, and it works out pretty good for me. If you want to check out this bike, click the link down in the description and use code LittleBronkBuster200 for $200 off your purchase if you want to buy this bike. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.